Kids, welcome to this week's Children's Ministry Online. It's great to be seen by you all today, and I'm excited for this week's worship, lesson, and craft. So if y'all are ready, let's get into it.
Over mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good all the time. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, oh, to the vast unknown, everywhere we go, God is good. Through the trials we face, He will show the way. We will stand and say that God is good. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, 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 around. Our God is good. When nothing goes our way, and it's just not our day. Our God is good. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, 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 over mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good. Over mountains high, through the valleys low, God is good. Wherever we go, from the brightest days to the darkest nights, God is good all the time. Oh, 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 God is good. Oh, oh, God is good.
My soul finds rest in God alone. My soul finds rest in God alone. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. And He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken, never be shaken. My soul finds rest in God alone. My soul finds rest in God alone. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. fortress, I will never be shaken. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken, never be shaken. Never be shaken. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress, I will never be shaken, never be shaken. Never be shaken. Never be shaken. Never be shaken.
Hey kids, now it's time to get started with our story. We're going to be reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and we're going to be reading the story called Running Away, which is the story of the lost son from Luke chapter 15. Jesus told this story about a boy who ran away. It went like this. Once upon a time, there was a boy and his dad. Now, one day, the boy gets to thinking, maybe if I didn't have my dad around telling me what is good for me all the time, I'd be happier. He's spoiling my fun, he thinks. Does my dad really want me to be happy? Does he even really love me? The son never thought of that before, but suddenly, he doesn't know anymore. So the son goes to his father and says, Dad, I'm better off without you. I can look after myself. Just give me my share of your money. His father is sad, but he won't force his boy to stay. So he gives his son what he wants. The son takes the money and goes on a long, long journey to a far-off country. And everything's wonderful and perfect for a while. He can go wherever he wants, do whatever he wants, be whoever he wants. He's the boss and he's free. Sometimes he gets a strange, hungry, homesick feeling inside his heart. But then he just eats more or drinks more or buys more clothes or goes to more parties until it all goes away. But soon his money runs out, and so do his friends. He ends up getting the only job that he can find, which is feeding pigs. One day, he is so hungry and so desperate, he even tries some of the pig food. Ugh! What am I doing? He says suddenly, as if he has woken up from a nightmare. He spits, yuck! All of it, ick, out of my mouth. My father is rich, and here I am, in a pigsty, eating pig food. He wipes his mouth and dusts himself off. I'm going home. As he starts for home, though, he begins to worry. Maybe Dad won't love me anymore. I've been so bad. He won't want me for his son anymore. So he practices his I'm sorry speech. All this time, what he doesn't know is that day after day, his dad has been standing on his porch, straining his eyes, looking into the distance, waiting for his son to come home. He just can't stop loving him. He longs for the sound of his boy's voice. He can't be happy until he gets him back. The son is still a long way off, but his dad sees him coming. What will the dad do? Fold his arms and frown? Shout, that'll teach you, and just you wait, young man. No, that's not how this story goes. The dad leaps off the porch, races down the hill, through the gap in the hedge, up the road. Before his son can even begin his I'm sorry speech, his dad runs to him and throws his arms around him and can't stop kissing him. "Let's have a party," his dad shouts. "My boy's home. He ran away, I lost him, but now I have him back." Jesus told them, God is like the dad who couldn't stop loving his boy. And people are like the son who said, "Does my dad really want me to be happy?" Jesus told people this story to show them what God is like and to show people what they are all like. So they could know, however far that they ran, however well that they may hide, or however lost that they were, it wouldn't matter, because God's children could never run too far or be too lost for God to be able to find them. Well, that is really encouraging, and I know that sometimes we may think, God, do you know what you're doing? What about this? What about this? Well, he has a plan, and even if we may stray from him, he's always going to love us and welcome us back to him with a huge hug and a kiss. I hope that that was encouraging for you all as well. Now I'm excited to get into this week's craft. Hey friends, now it's time to start our craft for today. So we'll get into the supplies first, and then as you guys gather those, then we'll be able to start. So to begin, we're gonna grab 3 pieces of paper. You can also grab a 4th one that's colored, or you can just grab a 4th just white piece of paper, and that will do perfect. I have thicker paper, so it's like cardstock, so if you have that, that might be easier for this craft, but if not, regular paper will totally work. Next, I have either tape or glue, whatever you have and or like to use. I'm also going to be using some scissors, a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can just use something straight because we're just going to be making a line and we want to make sure that we get a nice and straight line. And then I'm also going to be using a popsicle stick, and this is just to help keep the craft nice and straight, just so that it doesn't wobble over, because we're going to be taping some paper on top of another paper. So if you don't have a popsicle stick, you can also just use a regular stick from outside, or just something sturdy to be able to keep it straight that you can glue or tape on the back. Then I'm using a Clorox wipe container. Now you do not have to use this. The only reason I have this is to help make the circle of, or just make a circle. So we just want to make it a really nice and pretty shape, and the best way to do that is to have something to trace. So this is what I found to trace, but if you just have a small bowl or something else that is circular that you can trace, that will also work as well. The last thing that you will need is your coloring utensils. So I have my markers and my crayons. If you all want to use your colored pencils or paint or pens, whatever you all like to draw with, that will work great. So while you get your supplies, I'm gonna organize and then we'll get right to it. Okay, now that you have gotten your supplies, let's get started. So to start out with, we are going to use one of our pieces of paper and we're going to draw our 2 hands. So we're just going to trace them. So the first thing you'll do is you'll grab a color. So I'll get gray. And I'm just going to put my hand on the side of it and just make it so that it cuts off right about where my wrist is, so that way we get a nice and clear picture of our hand. So I'm gonna trace this hand and then I'll do the other one. Perfect. So now that we have that, we'll set that aside to cut later. Then we're going to get our second sheet of paper and we are going to take our Clorox wipes and we're going to put it on the top part or just one side of the piece of paper. So you can see right here that we still have this whole area to be able to use. So we'll take our pen again, and then we will trace the Clorox wipe container or bowl or whatever you guys are using. Okay, after doing that, you will take your ruler and you'll put it up right about against the circle, so you can see kind of around this. We're gonna do it just right there, that way we have as much room as possible over here. And then we'll just draw a straight line that way. Perfect. Now that we have the circle and our hands, we are going to cut all of these out. So we're gonna have this rectangle, this circle, and these two hands. And we're gonna cut all the way around them. Okay, now that we have cut out all these pieces, what we'll have is two handprints, a circle, and a rectangle. So now what we'll do is we'll take our rectangle and we're going to fold it into thirds. So you can take each side and then just bring them over on the top of each other like that. And then once they are all the way down, you just press down like that, and it makes just like a little book. And when you open it up, you'll have 1, 2, 3 sections. It's okay if they're not perfect in size, mine aren't, but it will get the process across. So now, if you want, you can crease them, which is what I just did. When you set it up, it stands very nicely just like this. So that is what we were hoping to accomplish with that. Second, we're going to grab our handprints and we're going to tape them to the back of the rectangle. So just like that. So I'll flip it over. You can also glue if you would like. I will just be using tape for today. All right, and I'm also going to tape the top of the hands just to ensure that they don't fly around anywhere. Okay, now we are going to tape the circle onto our rectangle part of the craft. So when you stand it up like this, the circle is going to get taped right here. So I'll have you get your tape and then go ahead and tape it on there. And we're gonna tape both the front and the back just like last time. Perfect. Now that we have taped everything on there, now we are going to get into the coloring of it. So right now we're going to make a face. So we'll draw 2 eyes. A little nose and a mouth. Eyebrows on the top. Perfect. So we have that. If you want, you can add some hair to it. So that is what I brought this piece of paper for. I consider my hair to be partly blonde. So you can just cut out some rectangles like that from the paper. And you can use, if you don't have a yellow or if you don't have a brown or a black piece of paper to match your hair, you can just use a white piece of paper and color that the color of your hair. Cut out however long it is. So if you're a boy, you probably will cut them about half this size and then just glue them like that. And if you're a girl, for me, I'm going to shape them to look like this. Well, then we'll do that. So I'm going to tape these onto my head, and you can tape the hair pieces that you have made onto your head as well. Okay, after I have taped the hair on there, I'm gonna do just a little bit of trimming to make the hair look how I want it to. So I'll just do a little round like that, cut off the corner right there. And now we have nicer looking hair. So after that, now we're going to color the t-shirt of our body, which is kind of what we're making here. So you can choose whatever color you want. I'll use pink, and you're going to outline the crease of your paper. So when you fold it, that is what the crease is, that part. And so you'll just outline that part, and then you're gonna make a large half circle right there. Perfect. Now, after you've done that, this is going to be your t-shirt, the sides of your t-shirt, and this is going to be the middle of your t-shirt. We're going to save the middle of the t-shirt to be white. That way we can write something in there that is encouraging for us. But on the sides, we can decorate our shirt to be however we want. So I'm going to color it, and then I'll probably add some decorations, maybe a pocket on the side of it. You all go ahead and start decorating your t-shirt however you'd like. I'm also going to put a piece of paper on the back of it. That way I don't accidentally color on top of the table. All right, after you have finished making or coloring your t-shirt, now we are going to write the message inside of our t-shirt. So our message today is going to read, Jesus always loves me and he welcomes me with a giant hug. So you'll choose whatever color you want to write it with. I will write it with purple or actually we'll write it with blue. Add some more color to it. So we'll write Jesus always in big letters loves me and welcomes me with a big hug. And we'll put a heart right on the bottom. All right, we are almost done. Now, after you have made that, you can do the crease and make it stand up like that. Now, some of your guys' faces, if you didn't use the cardstock or thick paper, some of it might be falling down, and we don't want that to happen. We want it to stand straight up. So that's where you can use your popsicle stick or a regular stick or something sturdy. So I'm going to take my popsicle stick and tape it to the back of the face and body, just connecting those two. And after that, we can Do that. And we have our craft for today, just like that. And this is just a great reminder that Jesus really does always loves us, and he welcomes us back even if we may stray away from him. And I think that this is just a great reminder for us. Thanks for doing this craft for me. We look forward to it next time. Thanks for watching this week's Children's Ministry Online. I hope you all enjoyed the worship and the message and the craft that we got to do today. And we really hope that we get to see you all next week on our next video. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you then.